Hi, Cheryl. We now have a full complement and we're going to start the meeting. So the meeting's starting at 7:08, call to order. And so all members are present. Who is the chair of the Inland Wetlands Commission is here. Hear from the public. Anybody from the public like to speak at this point? Okay. First selectmen's briefing. Somewhat brief tonight. We had a little bit of an emergency we ran through, which was we were out of propane at the senior center, completely out. Apparently, used to refill the tank. We had something where an AmeriGas or whatever in November, late November, told center that they weren't going to fill our tanks unless we moved it. Took it. They said it was too close, or he said it was too close to the. Bear with me. Need to be 10 feet condensers and the wall connection for the air conditioning, and so what I did at the time was I called. They're almost impossible to get. You said that was in November, and I said, "Hey, this doesn't make any sense." I talked. Doesn't make any sense. We've been receiving deliveries for many years, whatever. And the person said they would, get back to me. Nobody got back to me. I didn't even think about it at that point because nobody got back, because the person also said he'd never heard of something like that. Set up and you've been delivering there for years, and all of a sudden you're saying no. So actually what happened was we found out this morning that we had no, and called AmeriGas again, kind of chewed them out. What they were saying, well, it's because when they finally got to the day they could tell me something, said that, that they're saying that, no, you can't deliver. So I sent them the waivers that were, in particular, was signed in 2020 by the state fire marshal. The situation we had there was acceptable. And I sent them that today. And back and said again, nope. So at that point, it was kind of like, so I enlisted Spicer Gas. I called one of my fellow town, said, can you recommend anybody? And said, hey, actually works for Spicer Gas. How about, you want to give him a call, kind of thing. And the thing is, he called me. He said, what do you need? I said, we need the tank filled. We're on it. And I said, great. So we enlisted Spicer Gas. The price we were paying for propane was a state, kind of after the fact. It was, I think, $164.03, something. And when I got quoted, after I said Spicer Gas, yes, get out here, they said, was it $320, something like that? And I said, wait a minute. I said, we can't do that. I said, okay, do it.
Is that a municipal rate or something, or?
Get into the details. I needed the tank filled. And
it's running on the regular 320.
Right. And that's just it. I got them down to 199. I was delighted at that. They actually, the person said, if we had called in November, it would have been the ones that just said, no, that's all. So I think we got a decent rate under the circumstances. Is still more. And the guy is probably just finished pumping it now. Casey's over there. Extremely helpful, extremely helpful.
Did you happen to mention the issue that we had with our other vendor and the distance of the tank?
Yeah, I did. And by the way, to get through to AmeriGas, 40 minutes on hold. And that, the last time I did this in November, it was like 30 minutes on hold. So not pleased with their service at all. It's not the first time I've had to call them. And we from propane from them for works. We're not changing that. That's at the 164. That's not my. Knowlton Hall, I believe we get it for the generator, and I think we might get it for the generator. I didn't have a chance to check on that
I
one.
think this is oil here.
Is it oil? So, anyway, that was pretty much the whole day. Running around, trying to get information. The fire department was there because there was a smell of gas. They cleared it. Fire marshal was there. They were all terrific. Okay. I met the gas man over here, the propane guy, and senior center, and then Casey came. So they're probably wrapping up now. That was a little bit of excitement.
I mean, are we gonna go back to AmeriGas and
No.
the tank?
I will not ask for the senior center, but I did call.
That is our tank.
But I did call, bear with State Nutmeg. I called them, to ask them to come up at the, where the condenser is and everything. And option for me, just to get a sense of it, to take it out because using it, or to move it so that it's not as close to the tank. It's up again.
Who do we get our oil from the schools? Is it
Dime.
Dime? Used Dime. Do they have propane?
Didn't think to ask them. We,
Generator at the school is on propane and the new one. Never seen a tank. up
I don't
there.
remember hearing propane at
No,
all with them.
because didn't. No, I don't know.
All right, but I can call and find out. In the meantime, quickly, and
Well,
we now have,
that's a big difference.
well, not only that,
99.
we, if we need to- by the way, we had all the split units going and the bathroom doors. And we left the, bear with me, we left the dripping a little to make sure everything, nothing would freeze.
How the split units do. Because that's one of the,
But it
when
doesn't,
we were looking at them initially, that was one of the down. We're saying temperatures 20 or below,
yeah,
that they can't, historically, they don't keep up. But
Oh.
we haven't had a problem since.
no. Problem with over there is that the bathrooms are icy cold and you have to kind of you have to have the main temperature, not the splits, but the main temperature up higher splits. And for a while, until recently, I think people just, so it was creating all kinds of issues. Anyway, we've gotten that straightened around. The pine trees that need to be taken down that are on cemetery property. Inside, you have the stone wall, here's your cemetery. Stone wall, the property line for the cemetery is where that stone wall is. And these trees are all sitting where the stone. And so I think at some point in time, somebody thought they belonged to property owner. They don't. And he already took down, there were 4 trees. One of them, he was so afraid was going to his house, and there is one that's actually leaning that way, that he took it down and he had some down. And so I'll be talking to Casey about what we do. Talk before, I haven't had the opportunity to update him to say, yeah, they are on town property. Maps and everything. And I went out there and walked it and took a lot of pictures. These to be like 140 feet high. They're really tall. Down. And the property owner has given us permission to bring any. on there
Took
that
one
we
of the
need
three
to.
down.
Sorry,
He took one of the three down.
he had one of the trees taken down. Is whoever goes in to take down the other ones has to clear away what. I mean, he did it, it was our tree, but he took it down because he was afraid it was gonna fall on his house.
That property that's taken pride in the property.
That's what I said
Yeah.
too, when I saw him, and,
You know the story with that property, don't you?
no, are we sharing it with the world?
I'll tell you the old,
Okay,
it
Now?
involved John Zulick,
yeah,
remember? Chris, you remember the story?
everybody see, I think they can see you, okay. All right, if
Yep.
you're telling it now, or you're telling.
See you later.
Okay. Okay, the general government budget. Budget's in. Sherry has updated the system. She did a run for me. An opportunity to look at. She dropped it into Excel. What I'd like to do is I would like to schedule a meeting for Saturday morning for us to go through it. What's your Saturday look like, gentlemen?
I'm good.
25th.
Yes.
From
Uh,
11 to 1,
timing of your function,
11 to 1,
11 to,
be there by 10.
okay, how about Monday during the day?
Works for me.
Works for me.
Oh, wait a minute. No, it doesn't. My birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Okay,
Tuesday.
Tuesday morning? How about you, Roger?
I'm
Okay, thank you. And we'll go for, you want 9 o'clock?
it's 9 o'clock, fine.
9 o'clock? All right, so we're
28.
fresh. Okay, Capital Improvements Committee, we met last Wednesday and reviewed all of the old submittals and the new submittals. Been fully documented yet. They were ones like, for example, the documenting this, the Ashford Academy, something and the fire alarm system or whatever. So one concern that was raised during the meeting was that we didn't know how much is actually available at this point in time in the CNR. Sherry has since told us that about 800,000 is in clear, if you will,
Oh,
in
good.
CNR.
That's before any adjustments from Board of Finance?
Yes, that's one thing. Let me read, because it just doesn't seem possible, but
Because we've had a goal of, as you're probably aware, of 300,000 in there from year to year.
I didn't know about 300,000. That was
Well, the
the,
more the better, but I mean, there's
Yeah,
always been
at
a
a minimum.
concern not to let it drop any lower.
right. So that's something to keep in mind as we're making our recommendations.
Now, I heard through the grapevine that the new auditors, different way they're tabulating those figures. That they're showing us actually in a deficit in that and the way they're doing it or something.
The way that they're doing it is proper. It is the way that many municipalities have to operate. A great example was, let's see, we didn't have the steep grant in there at that time. We do now. Great. The when it came to the school roof, the actual work on the school roof started in July. Okay, but materials were purchased in June. So that was before the capital improvement thing kicked in. So that made us look like we were in a deficit as well. That's since been addressed. But it's, according to Sherry, it often happens with especially smaller municipalities when they're trying to get something going. And so that's all I know about it. And it was those two things in particular, if I'm correct. Is that right, Chris, from your perspective? Yeah. Okay, I also have put, and this one of the things on our agenda I put 2 building use agreements there for you to do a review of. They're pretty straightforward, and we can get to that during the meeting. Are there any other things that you have any questions about that are going on that are not part of our agenda, but I could possibly respond to during this section?
I got a few things to go over.
Oh, sure, thanks. All right, what are they?
Some of them are on the agenda, but
Keep the, yeah, what's not?
the meeting that was with the multiple agencies, it was at the senior center on Saturday.
Oh, yes, I could tell you about that. I went.
Who organized that?
ASCO did.
Okay,
And what they did was they had all different groups, they invited them all in. You had the
oh, I
historical.
learned about it when I saw the front page of this,
Yeah,
and I was disappointed that we weren't asked or we weren't listed to participate
Mm.
anyway.
no, it isn't about that. These were all volunteer organizations in town. So you had a kind of a real mix. You got the Historical Society, you had ASCO, we had the pollinators,
Yeah, I
We-
got the list.
yeah.
The
And there
Garden
were more
Club, the
beyond that, there were
Historical
more beyond that.
Society.
But none of them, except I think that the Commission on Aging might have had something there, but none of the ones who were to participate were our boards or
Okay.
commissions. In fact, what's been happening is over at the Housing Authority, what they've done, I know that I attended something and so did my husband. They have tried to put together something where a board or commission will come in and explain what they do.
Yeah.
So
That's
they
fine.
asked what the first selectman did, so I went.
Yeah.
And then they asked my husband about planning and zoning. So he happened to go with me.
Yeah, this was Saturday or?
No, this
Oh, the
was,
other time.
this was at least 2 months ago.
And the other question that was asked me, and I said, I don't know, and from what you've said, there were no town expenditures, money spent on that function.
None at all, no,
Okay,
no, and they did a very nice job.
all right.
And apparently some people signed up.
Good.
Which will, and when we get down to our board and commission appointments, it sounds like we have a couple of people too.
Oh, that's good. Another thing on my list is, and I apologize for sounding like a broken record on this, but
What is it?
I didn't see anything on our capital expenditures, or I don't know what our update is on the lighting in the parking lot in the back. And when I
So-
brought it up at our last meeting, you says, well, it's only one pole, which I don't quite understand.
No. There's one pole that's
Missing.
absolutely down.
Right,
Okay, so what we've done is we have, Chris did some sleuthing. We've given the information from the original lighting that we got, which she found in the archives.
so lighting, yeah. It came with the
Okay,
building.
so I've given that, the whole write-up and everything to, bear with me,
Alex.
Alex Sestillo, our electrician, and he is researching getting the parts.
I know we've been talking about it for a long time. I happened last week, I was called because ZBA had a meeting here
Okay,
and they couldn't get in the building.
how come they didn't make it a key?
They don't have a key, or they didn't ask for a key, and that, a side issue of that, I don't quite understand why we don't give chairman of our committees or commissions.
We
keys.
do. That's why I'm asking.
So put.
They
Keith
don't
on
meet
the
very
list.
often. They meet,
Keith Lipker, he does not have a key. He hasn't had a key since Ralph had the key
No.
changed.
no kidding, because the other chairs, commissions do.
Well, that's what I told him. I said, I thought, oh, we had a policy. We
Oh.
always used to have a policy.
All he's gotta do is ask.
Okay. All right.
And now that we know, we'll reach out to him.
Okay, and I'll tell him to check with
In
Chris.
terms of the lighting though, I know we've talked about it, but what we weren't able to find before was we weren't able to find the documentation that told us what we had.
Well, what happened, I brought up the CBA meeting, so I
Yeah.
came down,
Yeah.
which I don't mind, I'm a minute away. And obviously, the parking lot was completely black. And
Except for the one light.
which wasn't doing any good near the back door or whatever.
Yeah,
And two of their cases involved severely handicapped people. And So anyway, I parked my car back there, and while they were helping the people get in and out of the building, I didn't stay to the end, getting into the building. It's a life and safety issue.
Believe me, I have been chasing Alex on this.
Well,
And if,
I
and
mean,
if
what I
he's not
didn't
able to
understand,
do,
because we had problems before, and it was the timer box.
no, I know how to operate the timer box. Casey does too. We were working with that. It's the lights at this point.
All of them.
No, except that
on
one.
it,
The
except-
reason the one is on is because the timer box is working correctly. It's the only light that's actually working.
Why not the 3 pole, well, there's
You
a
c- there's al-
fixture missing on one of them.
Yeah, there's only one control, and that is that little box thing. Plus,
Yeah.
there's something in the system that's on here. But the other ones are not working because there's something wrong with the fixture at the top. The one that is working is indicative of the fact that the system works. It's just that the features, whatever, fixtures on the top are not working. So that's what he has all the information on, including a diagram and the contacts for the company. So I probably have it
Do we
here.
really need to focus and replace those lights that are out there, because we want to be
You
in line with the building? I mean, the lights that we had installed, over the new lights over at the senior at Pompey Hollow Park, they had the low yield, they're even better than these, but you can see under them and that.
Yeah, and the way we did that is we worked with Eversource and we got a good deal.
Well,
Which
we
we're
may
not gonna
be able to
get.
Get that great deal, but I'm just wondering if that would be an alternative. Maybe instead of having 6 poles out there, we had 4 poles that worked and lit the parking lot.
It's kind of our worst case alternative, and part of it is you're talking about taking out all the lights up here too,
No,
out in front.
mainly I'm concerned about getting that.
They're all on the
parking lot
same,
lit.
they're all on the
It'd be
same.
nice if we had the continuity and they're all the same, but
No, they're all on the same system. You'd have to, if you're taking out those, you gotta take out these. So just so you
Yeah.
know, they're all the same system, in front and out there.
well, it may be we have to look at an alternative system.
Well, right now, I
Is-
can,
is
you know,
Alex- Is Alex?
Alex is
getting
working
back
on
to you?
this.
Yeah,
And he was actually with Casey last year when I gave him the information. I gave him the hard copy.
because I hate to get to a point where we have somebody fall, something else happens.
Well,
It's
maybe-
been going on
maybe-
for several months now. I mean,
No, the best I can do is I can reach again out to Alex, but the thing is with the, we're not gonna get a deal on it, so I wanted to make sure that we know we need, because you're talking about replacing not only the things at the
The
top.
poles and the,
So what do we do with the lights over in front of Knowlton? They're not on the type. So,
well,
and believe me, with this architecture, just so you know, I know how functional they
right
are.
now, I'm,
Understood. Understood.
I mean, I agree with this aesthetic tone of the building, but there's a point, if it's gonna go another 2 or 3 months. I
Well, Bill,
really
what would you
think we
do?
have
What
to-
would?
Would you mind getting a couple of flashlights and standing out there when there's meetings? No.
Did my husband tell you I don't play well? He would. Okay, so I
We just wanna see
understand,
that we're.
really understand the urgency and have been trying to push this.
I mean, it's been
Casey
bothering
is
me
com-
for long. People stumbling in the other night.
I appreciate that. Okay.
All right, let me see what else I have. Gonna be talking to us about the roof. Should we talk about I asked it to be on the agenda, and I noticed it's not, but
What is it?
I'm under items for next agenda, and I mentioned transportation policies.
I forgot. I'm sorry. I forgot. It's been a busy time.
I know,
Our transfer station committee, I tried to get the transfer. I think we need to take another look at who can be on that committee and
it has passed away,
who's,
Terry
oh,
Wakeman.
yeah,
Terry.
yeah.
Ran into Tom Wells a couple of weeks ago. And
getting,
he's been very for some of his life. He's really had some issues, so
okay. So,
we should be looking for some new members there.
Basically, you've got Chuck and
But I don't know what's going on with the guard station
okay, I can,
being manned.
yes, it is.
Okay, well, I went there probably one of our year is the first day we're open after Christmas.
Well, we're not, we already told us about what has been going on, because that's a while ago. So we don't,
What's going on with Charlie?
Charlie is out. Okay, I'm not gonna get into the details on, during this meeting, but he's out. And so, we have, let's see, we have Gary, we have Hadley, who has also been up helping in the other area. And Tony was out. So I can tell you this, I said, my husband went down there, I think it was last weekend, and he came back home and he said, I just want to tell you something, Ms. Selectman. He said, the guys down there that are down there right now, they're doing a great job. He said, he saw, what did he see? Somebody pulled in and, oh, a woman with cardboard boxes and stuff in it. And she was over at where you put in the bulky waste stuff, and she had stuff. And both those guys came running to say, you don't want to put the cardboard in there. You want to take the cardboard down here. He actually saw them do that, and they were on it.
Good.
So, but we have been missing our two regular people.
Because then the following Sunday after that Saturday, I was up there
Yeah,
and there were 5 of us lined up getting rid of, backed up to the major.
yeah.
I was the only one with a sticker.
They,
We have not had a sign saying stickers required anywhere on the premises that I could find for at least the last 2 months.
fine, we'll put a sign up.
I mean, has there been a policy where
Done.
we're not enforcing stickers
No,
anymore?
what I have heard is, and I heard is that the guys who are working there know who the people are. And so they don't always chase them down for stickers. Personally, and we have some women who don't want to put stickers on their cars because they're afraid of being stalked. That'll show that they live in Ashford. Okay. My thing is, I've already talked to Casey about this. Don't care. They can put them on some plexiglass, whatever,
Plexiglass,
stick
we
it in the
talked about
window.
that last time.
And what we do tell the people who come to get transfer station stickers when they come here, you must affix it to your window. So we'll get a sign that says required. And if we have to, that one must be affixed to your window or you're not coming in, whatever, we can do that. But it's my understanding from the people working there that they already know who these people are. And that the people that we got that were the scofflaws were the ones that were coming in before when we first did the checking on them. When we first put the booth up. And that we don't have those same people coming in anymore. So, but I'll be glad to, have them put a sign up. We'll get it up as quickly as possible.
We have a sign that we had designed for that booth when the booth was open. That said, stop, stickers required, the whole thing. That's not even going up now.
Okay, so I don't remember that. That wasn't during my tenure in terms of the sign when the thing
2x4
opened and
sign
everything.
that we set up could be put up at the discretion of making sure we have somebody in the booth or whatever.
Okay, to be quite candid, I wasn't aware of that. So I'll make sure there's a sign, more than one.
Yeah, we used to have a couple, and then the big board sign that was up there.
You said
apparently has
we
been
already
taken
had,
down.
you said we already had some that
Yeah.
were up and they're not there anymore?
Well, that sign that I just told you about where it said stop,
Yeah.
stickers required,
Yeah,
we had one there. We had one ordered. I don't recall if it got in or not. For the
Okay.
fence as you come in. Stickers required.
not a problem. I don't have a problem cracking down.
And
Just so
maybe
you
we ought
know.
to have, if we're gonna have a couple of new ones made, have one, stickers required, must be displayed.
Got it.
It shouldn't be up to the memory or who happens to be on the booth, whether they remember if somebody has an
I-
attitude with,
I agree. Okay.
I have to
Display.
say, over the past few weeks, I'm not given the opportunity to get out of my truck to dispose of my garbage.
And why
It's
is
either
that?
Hadley or Gary stealing my garbage.
That's right. So what we've seen is that they've been doing a very nice job. So, but I think the signs are a great idea. Okay, I just didn't realize that we had that plan before.
but we always had a plan, we were gonna insist on stickers.
Yep.
That was part of the whole theory that we put that booth up.
So here's what happens is when I go down, when my husband goes down, with the, I wouldn't say this particular crew, but the old crew, everybody perks up. Okay, so it's like I can't even get in there and see an issue because they can see it's coming.
Well, I'm sure they see me coming too, but, it's just, the idea of that booth was, who's ever sitting in there shouldn't be waiting for people to stop at their discretion. They should be on alert. The people come in, they have a sticker, they wave them through. They don't have to stop. If they don't have a sticker, they should stop, find out why not. And if it's because, well, I don't want to put it on my windshield because somebody's gonna stalk me.
So here's my idea. What we really ought to have, if you really want people to stop, because people are accustomed to going in, they've been accustomed for years, is you put an arm. You put an arm there.
Well, we didn't want to go that far, but that could be an alternative. But if you have somebody there that's paying attention, it's not sitting in that booth waiting for somebody to stop and ask them a question. And they think they have to stop, it goes a long way.
Yeah. Well, these signs may help with that. Okay, so we'll do that as quickly as we can. You had anything else?
You've got stuff on the agenda, so I can,
Okay. All right, so Ashford School roof replacement project status, I haven't checked this week to see.
You want to do minutes first?
Oh, I'm sorry. Acceptance of the minutes of the regular meeting of January 6th.
so move.
Seconded,
Thank you. All in favor?
right?
Aye. Thank you. Motion passes. Old business, I'm sorry, hear from boards, commissions, committees. Cheryl, I know you're there. I don't know if you want to talk at this point in time about your committee or if you'd like to talk about it when we get down to, let's just see here where you are on the agenda. You might want to talk about it right now.
Yes,
that
that would be lovely because then I could go to bed.
Yes, very
No,
good.
it's a little bit too early.
Bill, hang on a second. You don't need to because she's on the commission. So she's going to talk about what her need is. And then what we're going to talk about later on is what we're going to do.
Okay.
Okay?
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Catherine. So I know you're going to talk about this way later in the agenda, but what I had asked for it was that the selectmen consider forwarding an ordinance change to reduce the size of the Wetlands Commission board from 7 regular members and 2 alternates to 5 regular members and 2 alternates. And the reason for this is because we have difficulty getting members. And right now we are fortunate enough to have a quorum at our meetings, at least the 2 that I've chaired. Oh, maybe the one that no, 2 that I've chaired, because we have some really dedicated members. But if anyone is ill, we run the risk of having to basically not have a quorum and not be able to process the agenda, which often includes folks who, are waiting to get their permits, and don't really understand the process and don't really want to wait. But there's no reason why we would need to make these folks wait. We should always have a quorum. We also have one of our members has originally planned to resign because of his health, but has agreed to stay on until such time as he is no longer needed to ensure a quorum. And I'm so appreciative of what he's doing, but we need to give him some relief. The size of the board in many other of the smaller towns, especially in our area, has actually been reduced in just this way. So there's definitely a precedent for this having happened. It's a fairly simple fix, I believe. So I'm hoping that you will consider forwarding this concept on to our attorney to come up with some wording. So I hope that was clear.
I have a question, Catherine. So
Bill
if
has a question.
If I understand
Yes.
right, you want to go from 7 to 5?
Yes, 7 regular members to 5 regular members. We would still have 2 alternate
So
positions.
This would be, so it'd be easier for you to meet a quorum?
Yes,
Okay. Now, in your correspondence, I noticed you said that there were 2 people interested in joining or something. You weren't sure whether they had contacted the office here or?
right. I had heard about 2 different people from the agent. And he had sent them to you, but Catherine, you had said maybe one of those people was one of those ones that actually did contact you at this point. I'm not
Joe
sure.
Hendricks did.
Okay. So. But I haven't personally met any of those folks.
Yeah. Has the board actually had a motion to make that recommendation to us or?
Have you had a quorum to be able to?
Yes, we discussed it at the very first meeting that I chaired, which was 2 months ago, in September, I believe, or October.
Well, I mean, our board historically goes with the recommendation of our boards and commissions, so you can better do your jobs. I certainly wouldn't have any opposition to your request.
Great,
Nor would I.
Makes sense.
great.
So
Great.
if you were, in this case, we do have someone who is interested in joining.
Mhm.
And that would, right now you have 5 active members, maybe one that's helping you keep a quorum.
That's right.
So what this would do is you would take, that person would be able to step down and this person might be able to step up. Once you've been limited, well, actually you don't have to wait for that, but once you've been limited to,
Right. My suggestion would be to put the new person, if it works out for you, put the new person in as an alternate. And that way, if the ordinance passed, we wouldn't be in the awkward position of trying to figure out how to shuffle those folks. I really don't know how that would work. So,
that makes
Our
sense.
list right now, Catherine, shows 2 regular members open and
The
2
2
alternates.
alternates. So we're
Right.
talking about an alternate
But,
seat.
so there's no regular member seat. Thank goodness this fella's hanging in there. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch what you asked.
Right now you have no openings for regular members.
Yes, they do.
Yes, there are 2 openings for regular members. However, if the ordinance were to be passed, we would not have any openings for regular members because we'd have 5 unless Peter were to step down. I mean, the timing of that might be, I don't really know.
It might be appropriate.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. I'm going to say goodnight and I really appreciate your time. Take care.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Okay. So let's see, and now we're going to old business, Ashford School Roof Replacement Project status. I haven't had a chance to check this week to see if they put in the skylight, which has already been manufactured. It's a matter of Imperial coming out and putting it in. They were going to put it in on a weekend. I don't know if they have yet, so I can't give an update other than that.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yep.
If they have not got it in, maybe we ought to talk to them about doing it during the spring break.
I don't want it to hang on that
I don't
long.
know what precautions they've taken, but
They said it would only take the weekend.
I just worry about doing anything on a frozen new roof. Installing a good size anything up there.
Oh, they didn't seem to have an issue on that, but they also had said it was weather dependent. So,
I mean, we're going into a deep freeze now and it's gonna apparently be with us for a while.
It's a good-
We've lucked out until this past couple of days. I
I-
just wanna be more prudent just to stall it until spring break. Talk to them, it's just a
yeah.
thought I
and
had.
we're also trying to get our reimbursement.
Well, we paid for the window and I assume we haven't paid for them yet.
No, we got a bill, we got a statement, but we're following up on what it is. It was for the month of January, and January is not over yet, so they may have
Okay.
indicated that they were going to be putting in the skylight. And I know Chris did a reach out earlier today, but I don't think we've gotten an answer back. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to talk with them about, what are the ramifications, what are the issues facing us if that's put in while things are in a frozen status? Is that an issue? And you're thinking it is because they have to use heat to put it in and that kind of thing, and it'll
Well, they're
contract?
gonna be dealing with one element that's not frozen into a frozen environment now
Right,
and trying to seal it and,
yeah,
I mean, it's just,
okay.
I even
Yeah.
hate having people up on a frozen roof if we don't have to.
I'm
Have
not
you
as
got any
concerned
more
about
word-
that because
have
they
you
know
got
how to
it?
do their job, but
Oh,
but certainly on the sealing it and everything, so we can find out about that.
Have we had any more instances or anything about the leaks?
Not since the last time I brought it up,
No.
not to my knowledge.
And question, did we ever get the manual that we were talking about or the warranty?
You wouldn't have that till it's done,
And the lien releases?
right? And there's certain things that they know have to be with that, but not until the job is fully done.
Okay, because I don't think DAS will sign off. Historically, they wouldn't until those things are in place, so.
Just will tell you the DAS has already done one of the reimbursements,
Yeah.
so they're
I'm
not
talking
holding
about
off on the money, but you mean the
amount.
final sign off,
Right,
and then Kerma would be signing off as well. Yeah, but not until it's done. Okay, can I move on to the next thing?
absolutely.
Okay, so I gave you two building use schedules, if you will, that were put together. One is a one pager, that's for the senior center. It's much better than what they had before. And the second one is for the use of Knowlton, which is a two pager. Do you have it right there?
Mhm. Cool.
So the first one is the senior center. I'll give you a few minutes to look at that.
Senior center looks good to me.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. that item number F, or letter F, under lockup.
Yep.
I just need to get a better description of how to lock that darn the bars,
Mhm.
because it's really awkward and people are having difficulty with it, so I need a more detailed
Do you mean the main
description.
front doors, the,
Yeah, I need a more detailed description to put here, that I can work with Casey on.
like?
Oftentimes
the
Casey has to come and
release is
lock
hidden
it.
Behind the.
Yeah,
No, good. And I see the commercial that we talked about. That's good.
Looks fine to me.
thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your work.
Yeah, I'll do one more for using the meeting rooms downstairs. But it's really the big room that would be used by someone, I don't know, for a party or a thing, but typically the people who are using them are not the same people are using Knowlton.
Yeah.
Or at the senior center. The only thing is, at one point in time, I think we tried yoga down there and it wasn't a good fit. And
You need to protect the owl.
we certainly have, like the Republicans and Democrats might have a pizza party down there, but they're not the people that, we're not charging them.
Right.
Because they're part of the town, so to speak. Okay, well, thank you. I mean, I can take this off the agenda from now
Imagine
on.
that.
Oh, thank God. Okay, you made me a happy woman. Update on Table Rock / EPA lien status. We haven't had any updates over the last, is it 2 weeks or 1 week? I can't remember. So there's no update there. New business under board and commission appointments. We've got a couple. One, well, let's see, economic development. I don't think we have anybody for that one, correct, Chris?
No.
And inland wetlands, we have Joe for an alternate member seat, it sounds like,
Okay.
and that's Joe Hendricks. And Chris, did you give them anything from Joe? Thank you.
I think I sent you his email.
Okay.
Saying he's interested and he would either take a regular seat or an alternate seat. And it seems like he was leaning towards an alternate seat so he could learn.
I think I saw it, vaguely remember.
Do we need a motion?
Yes,
Motion to.
just
appoint
to
Hendricks,
seat him as an alternate
To see him as an alternate.
on the Inland Wetlands and Watercourses Commission
Yep.
for a period that the position that
June.
expires June 1st, 2027.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, with thanks to Mr. Hendricks for volunteering. The Ag Commission, I don't think we have anybody. Zoning
I've
Board,
got somebody that I should be able to confirm. The only thing I wanted to contact was the chairman or whatever, have him call in.
good idea.
So hopefully we have somebody.
All right. Zoning Board of Appeals. Chris, I don't think we had anybody for that, right?
Okay.
Conservation Commission.
Yep.
We already put Pam Summers there, right? I think that was the one. Commission on Aging, we don't have anybody yet. We do know that we've lost 2 people from there.
Did we have a chance to send them a note or anything? Gene
No,
and
I
Carol?
haven't had a chance yet.
Okay.
We will. Babcock Library Board. Fill the vacancy created by the resignation of Pam Summers till November 18th, 2025.
I think
Um,
we have somebody.
Yes,
that-
we do. We have Elizabeth
Elizabeth
That's
Fitzroy.
Fitzroy.
I will move appointing Elizabeth with many thanks to fill the vacancy created by And Summers leaving.
Okay, and a second?
I'll certainly second that.
Any discussion?
No, appreciate her going back on though. She can certainly hit the floor running.
She's knowledgeable, yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Planning and zoning, we don't have anything.
But planning and zoning is only on there as a placeholder, just to remind us that we have to do it next meeting.
Now, does that have to be a Republican or Democrat? I noticed that
Jeff Schillinger,
he was a Republican.
And
and
when
he's still a
we,
Democrat, I believe.
what have we got with them?
I think they still.
they have to move up an alternate.
They have to.
So we aren't doing anything?
Not until
You
next
said
week.
they have to move up an alternate. They do that on their own, correct? So this is just a reminder that that has to happen and
Well,
nothing.
no, they have to move
Then
up
we
the
have to
alternate,
do
and
an
then you
alternate.
guys have to name an alternate,
Oh, a new alternate,
yes,
but we don't have any applicants for that.
but you can't do it yet anyway.
Understood. Thank you. Tax refunds.
Any tax refunds?
That's right,
Tax refunds?
and,
None?
sorry,
Did you say we do or don't?
None.
None? Oh, I'm sorry. Next one, award revaluation bid as recommended by the Ashford Ascender.
I will make a motion to award the contract for the proposal from Ashford Revaluation Services for Quality Valuation Services LLC,
Equality, yeah.
equality, for $55,000 as recommended by our assessor, and we appreciate her work and diligence she did on this.
Yeah, I will second that.
Any more discussion? She did a fine job,
Absolutely.
very fine job. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay. Consider agenda for a public hearing, special town meeting to consider the following: revision of the ordinance determining the size of the Inland Wetlands Watercourse Commission, and consider acceptance of Lake Woods Lane as recommended by the Planning and Zoning Commission at their meeting of January 13th, 2025.
Do we have a date that we're thinking about?
neither of which you can do yet, because we haven't gone to council yet,
Okay,
so he's gonna do the
so
wording for
this
the
is
ordinance
just
revision.
informational.
Okay,
and He's gotta do the legal notice for
Okay,
Lakewood's Lane.
all right, so let's aim for that for our next meeting then.
I'm sorry?
So what we'll do is aim for doing that, setting the date at our next meeting.
Well, yeah, we can do that, we have to wait for the deed from the developer.
Do you know how long it might take to get the deed?
I thought we would have had it already. So I will get on them and find out where it is.
All right. So, at least from this end, from our board, we're looking at going forward with this.
Yeah, so we're looking sometime in February.
February.
Yeah.
Does, February create any problems for anybody? I keep thinking of back in December, sorry, gang. Okay, agenda items for upcoming meetings. One of the things I would like to do is I would like to start looking. I've been wanting to do this for a while. And it will be popular, but not popular. Is looking at a, what's it called? An ordinance for,
blight,
when you got junk all over properties. What
blight ordinance.
Blight, yeah, thank you, sorry. Blight, flight. One that does not,
It is not
is not
popular.
I know, that is not onerous to our to our farmers. Okay, to people who do have, things on their property, but one that is targeted enough that we have some properties that it's very hard to get them cleaned up, and they are truly a problem. I hear about them all the time. And, we're not looking to be strong arming people. We're just looking at some of these properties that are really, what's the word I want to use? With, garbage piled up. We have some where we have Eastern Highlands working on it.
They're nice, they're not, and two, I'm sure in your mind, the same as mine, and probably several more. But they're not only eyesore to the town, they have an effect on local neighbors' valuation of their properties.
It does, and that's what people
And
are saying.
One of the things that bothers me the most, and in the past, I had asked Mike D'Amato whether he was familiar with other towns that might have a lighter type of,
Right.
give us more flexibility in what we could have
Right.
and not be quite as strict,
Right.
real strict.
He sent me one, I think, from Newington, but that doesn't, and that's a while back, okay?
And it's a totally different sized town.
It is, and really what I'd like to do is, I'd like to do a little research myself. To look at like-sized towns or something close, something rural. Because again, I'm not looking for something heavy at all, something that is just able to work with, apply to particular properties that are really beyond the pale.
Yeah. One of the things that I've always envisioned it would need would be some sort of an enforcement officer.
That was my next question.
And then what sort of weight would that enforcement officer carry? I mean, besides the eyesore and valuation of neighbors' properties, everything, one of the biggest concerns, two biggest concerns are life and safety issues to me, and environmental issues. I mean, I don't know how many calls I made and how many people I asked to go to that home across the street from the firehouse up there, which burned 4 years ago, 5 years ago now.
So I did that when I sat in the seat before, and I did that with Mike. And
I went to Jim Rupert, I had him go, I went to two of our building inspectors go, I had the fire marshals go. I was told because they did this flimsy fence around it that it was protected.
And the taxes are up to date.
And they paid the taxes up to date. Now, I don't know why, since that happened 2 years ago, where we started enforcing it, there's 2 more vehicles been brought onto that property. I don't know from where.
I didn't know that.
You'll see them right in, so they've been moved. I don't know if they're the
I
owner
see the
moving there.
vehicles right at the edge of the property. I
You got
didn't
like a
realize they were
payloader
moved.
type thing there. I mean, I had no, my concern was it's less than 100 yards from the Hope River, which is a classic.
Yes.
I don't know if they have septic fields there that have not been taken care of. I didn't know if there's any buried oil tanks. I mean, I have real,
Paints.
huh?
I heard paints.
Yeah, and who knows what's in the house itself.
So what I'm thinking is that in particular, that property is not going to be one that can really look at until spring to really do that kind of assessment. And we have the Eastern Highlands. We have, I know that I worked with Mike before on this. And one of the things was trying to find the owner. And finally, it came down to if you send a registered letter to wherever you think he lives, kind of thing, that was adequate according to
The
council.
last I heard, he was living in town with his son.
Not here. That's not what I heard. When did
Last
you
I
hear?
heard he's living down towards the shoreline someplace.
Yeah,
I-
his ex-wife lives down there.
She's down there
She
also.
down there, but I heard he was in New York State. So, we're talking about a particular case, but the reality is that's not the only one in town, but that's one of the most obvious
No, those
ones.
are,
It's on the main drag,
we got another one that's on the main drag right across from the transfer station
correct?
for the Public Works.
Yeah.
Who I've appealed to, I don't know how many times and visited down there and.
You have, I didn't realize
Oh,
you'd
yeah.
gone down there.
Part of me wonders whether or not just to move them along. I mean,
Yes.
probably all that stuff is gonna wind up in our dumpsters anyhow. Is
Well,
to
you
actually,
Probably all
to-
came out
do
of
you
our.
remember
probably came like,
Do you remember the John Wolf
oh, I
fiasco?
remember John Wolf. I was not part of the fiasco.
I
but
remember him on the front page of the Hartford Current too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
We
any-
ended up hauling that stuff ourselves.
I know.
Mhm.
We have a
And-
bunch of information from CCM that we got a couple of years ago because we asked their research department to send us sample blight ordinances.
Right. I'm not concerned about finding one or crafting one. I'm more concerned about the enforcement.
Yep.
So with the enforcement, if you have an ordinance and someone violates the ordinance, you would issue a citation. And you would, if they didn't fix it, you take them to court. I mean, that sounds oversimplified, but that's what it is. Or you issue another one. We've done that with another property, the one with the shed down at the lake. A second one was done this month. So enforcement is ultimately taking them to court. But who would issue the citation? I mean, if we've got a health thing, if it's health and safety kind of thing, then it's Eastern Highlands, actually health. If it's safety, that's a kind of a different one.
Well, it's fire safety, fire hazard, fire marshal,
Yeah,
is it?
I called in the health inspector, I
Yeah.
called in
you
the
gotta
fire
get,
marshal, the
No,
fire.
I'm
anybody
sure
I
you
could
brought in
talk to,
building.
Mhm.
You know,
In some cases, like with Andrew Mead, there's DEP because of his proximity to the river,
Right.
which
Yeah.
is what we did with John Wolf.
Understood. So anyway, I'd like to start looking at what's out there and see if there could be something crafted. The other thing that we
it
need,
will be a bit unpopular.
yeah,
Because
understood,
we've floated that balloon a few times, because something has to be done. And
right,
It's surprising how many people come up and speak against it.
particularly since there's so many people who contact us to complain about it. I've got 3 different people complaining about one location that Eastern Highlands is working on. And the husband, I've only dealt with the 3 women, happened to be, the husband came into my office today. And you're not gonna have a good moment when the guy walks right in and stands right there. Ultimately, it was fine. I let him know that Eastern Highlands is working with that family. And I contacted Eastern Highlands immediately while he was here to leave a message for them to, give me a call back. But I found Eastern Highlands of all the people I'm asking these kinds of services from, Lynette's the fastest.
Yeah.
And when something goes along and changes, or whatever, she always sends me an email to let me
Very,
know.
very professional.
Very professional and helpful. All right, so that was one. The other one is we need to, and I started working on it. I haven't given you all of the tax collector job descriptions that are out there, because they're like a lot to put together. I wanted to bring a skinnied down one, simplified to you to take a look at. You can look at the other ones with it, but kind of have something as a start, at least, to what we'd like to have. So I'd like to have that on our next agenda.
Good.
Okay,
Oh, is this the next regular meeting or are we talking about Tuesday?
I'm thinking the next regular meeting. So those are the 2 things in particular that jumped out at me. Anything else? Are you laughing? Is that a good one?
If you have those before our next regular meeting, just leave
To
it
get
in
you-
our
so you
box.
can
I'd like
read
a
it ahead of
chance to
time.
read them.
Yeah. It's a little
And-
light reading.
I think Chris has given them to us already, but whatever we have in file for that office right now, maybe we could add that to the compare.
That sounds good. Okay. Anything else you want for upcoming meetings? Okay,
I've got 8:12.
8:12. Motion to adjourn from someone?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, whoever's tuned in.
I was telling